2 hours later.
Hey everybody, and welcome to World Cinema Breakdown, or in short, WCB. And as usual, I'm with Gershreja, and I'm very excited that you've joined me here today. Well, today we'll be looking at Peacemaker, Episode 6, and what an episode it was. But before I dive into today's episode, I just wanted to remind everyone that I'm on my road to 250 subscribers, so please help me in getting there. I'm very close, and with your help, I know I can get there, so please hit the subscribe button, and while you're at it, might as well click the bell icon, so that way you get notifications every time I drop a new video, such as the one from right now. So today's video, as you've seen, is a review for episode 6, and this episode gets pretty crazy because so much happens, and there's, honestly, I didn't even know where to begin about talking it, but I figured there's three main things I want to hit on, which is just the whole Murn situation, the whole butterflies, like what they're all about, and, them taking over the earth, and lastly, just Peacemaker himself, because there's a lot more in terms of Peacemaker than meets the eye. And I'll explain more about that later. But for now, let's just start talking about Murn. The ending of the previous episode was obviously a cliffhanger, and we didn't know if Murn was going to kill Leota. But obviously, he ends up, being one of the quote-unquote good guys. But he's a butterfly after all. But the reason I appreciate this character and this whole plot twist is because he's one of few gray characters now. Because so far in the entire show, there haven't been too many gray characters. Probably Leota, because, she's kind of a double agent, playing for both sides. And then Peacemaker, because he kills a lot of people, does a lot of stupid things, but then you still root for him because he's still a good guy at the end of the day. Now, Murn is in that category as well because, he's obviously done a lot of bad things, but he's still, quote-unquote, doing it for the right reasons. So it's really hard to really justify what is okay and what is not. And Leota even kind of points that out when Murn is talking about the butterflies taking over, the butterflies doing all these things, and she says, no, you are one of them. And then this is exactly what I mean.
They started leeching, using humans in positions of power as hosts.
You took over someone!
Yes.
Yeah, you killed someone, whoever Murn really was!
I needed to stop them! So I inhabited the worst person I could find.
And soon after this very serious, little moment, so to say, it's just comic relief as usual, because this show, it's every 2 minutes there's something funny, and if you don't see that happening in this show, then you're not watching the right show. And what I mean by that is, Leota asks Murn, well, what's Goff's name, butterfly name, and he says, oh, it's like ick stack ick ick. And I thought that was just pretty random, and even she thought it's crazy.
Can't pronounce it with a human tongue. I suppose it'd be something like ick stack ick ick.
Ick stack ick ick.
Yes.
This shit is getting goofy.
And speaking about the butterflies and, comic relief, the first half of the episode, we don't really see the dark or serious side of things with respect to the butterflies because Goff, who's trapped in the jar with Vigilante and Peacemaker, Goff starts to draw a little peace sign, with mucus onto the jar, and they both start freaking out, and they start asking Goff questions. And that scene was pretty funny because it's like a whole new revelation, but at the same time, you have Vigilante asking dumb things like, what's your favorite question? Or sorry, what's your favorite color?
Okay, Goff. 1 tap is yes. 2 taps is no. Do you understand? Okay, Goff. Is that a peace sign?
Oh, Goff, what's your favorite color?
Dude, it's yes or no questions. I just said it.
And then obviously things shift pretty quickly because when Vigilante and Peacemaker realize that the police is there to catch them and they have to escape in time, so they climb a tree. And then Vigilante falls out of the tree and lands onto the jar, breaking the jar. And that's where everything goes crazy because, they just released Goff. Oh, shit.
Stay where you are! Don't move!
And the reason this is massive, with respect to the storyline, is because of the fact that, as Murn mentioned in the beginning of the episode, Goff is their leader. And now Goff, obviously takes control of the policewoman. And because she's a policewoman, she has access to so many different people and powerful equipment. So the first thing that the butterfly does is goes back to the headquarters and sends this weird graphic coding message to the other butterflies on their own planet so that they can come down to Earth.
Soph, what's going on?
Nothing.
I've got paramedics coming to check you out. They're on their way.
There's no need and no time for that.
Soph, those aren't even words.
And this is where we kind of probably finally see our main conflict, because we're 6 episodes in and we haven't really been face to face with the actual conflict. But now we finally have a conflict to solve in 2 more episodes, because Goff contacts the other aliens, or butterflies, so to speak, and they literally come almost immediately in their tiny little spaceships. And all of a sudden it starts looking like an alien invasion movie or a show, rather than a quote unquote superhero movie or show. So, it's almost like a mix of the two, which is kind of cool. So this scene was literally just the beginning of the quote unquote takeover, because soon after, those butterflies fly into the police headquarters and they take over every single human in that building. And it's not just 4 or 5 people, it's probably a solid 20, 30 people. And this just seems like the beginning, so it's going to be cool to see how our superhero team kind of takes them on. But let's talk about the main member of that team, Peacemaker, who the show is named after. There's so much to unpack here, because, in the beginning we see like a whole comic relief thing where he's in the school and he's kind of doing a Q&A session to make the kids happy. But then there's a moment where this girl asks him about his origin story, and then he has a flashback.
Jamil's kid.
Do you have an origin story?
You dumb fuck, you killed him.
I'm glad that we're finally unpacking more and more about his past, because every episode, even if it's in the most minute way, has hinted at his dark past, but we just never got to pry it open. And even now, we haven't truly pried it open, but I think that's coming very soon, probably in the next episode. The reason is because the flashback was about him accidentally killing his own brother, but that's largely due to his father, because of the way that his father kind of forced him to be a murderer as a kid. And I think that's going to be an interesting dynamic going forward, because obviously, the White Dragon, his father, is going to try to kill him now. So Peacemaker has to deal with so many issues. He has to deal with his father trying to kill him, the butterfly invasion, and he's soon going to find out that his team has been lying to him this entire time about Murn. And then lastly, Leota's probably going to come clean eventually about trying to throw him under the bus and implicate him. So he has a lot to deal with, and I think this has so much build-up for the final 2 episodes, and I really hope they don't rush things and they're able to kind of, delve into all the major plot points, in the final 2 episodes. But I think for the final episode, the next episode, which is episode 7, my prediction is we're finally going to see a showdown between him and his father, and that's probably going to lead to a bit of a breakdown, and that'll be kind of cool, because we'll see the human side of him. But for now, I'm kind of excited about next week. It's just have to wait a whole another week to see this next episode. But until then, please keep tuning into my videos, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until then, peace.